Shipping is a crucial part of global commerce. The international maritime industry is responsible for transporting more than 90% of world trade. It is constantly changing to meet new commercial demands and to take advantage of new technology. With these developments, there is often more pressure on seafarers. Crews are smaller, turnarounds in port are faster, and there is more paperwork to deal with. At the same time, legislation and regulations are being drawn up to ensure that international safety standards keep pace with industrial changes. Although there have been advances, safety at sea can still be improved considerably if we are to prevent accidents and reduce personal injuries in future. While a comprehensive set of rules and regulations helps create and maintain a safe working environment on board, accidents still happen. Seafaring is a high-risk industry. Until recently, it came second only to fishing as a potentially dangerous career. It is vital to be aware of your environment and the possible dangers it may hold, and to take all the measures necessary to prevent accidents and injuries from occurring. Everybody concerned must take their responsibility for safety at sea seriously. That means all crew members, from the captain to the most junior hand on board, as well as the company employees ashore who are involved in running the ship. So, what allows accidents to happen?
I think that mainly the problem is in the human resources, because of mostly all troubles are happening just due to negligence of the rules which set by companies and by owners on board the vessel.
Some of the accidents that happens is with the carelessness of some crew members.
Some people not enough responsible. I guess they forget to use some safety devices during jobs.
Actually, it is a question of the, maybe sometimes tiredness of the people.
There are different codes and guidelines recommended by both international organizations and national administrations. The IMO International Safety Management Code, ISM, was written to provide an international standard for the safe management and operation of ships. The ILO Maritime Labour Convention, adopted in 2006, requires that ships with 5 or more seafarers on board establish a ship safety committee, with safety representatives elected or appointed from amongst the crew.
We cannot survive in this business if we don't give the top focus on the safety issues and environmental issues and the quality of our services.
This is a big, huge plant which contains also dangers, and we have to be aware that things can happen.
The safety representatives are usually elected by a simple majority for 1 year at a time. Elections should also be held when there is a rotation of the entire crew.
Actually, it is selected from the crew. They select them.
The safety representative is responsible for protecting employees' interests in matters relating to the working environment on board, and for ensuring that safety work is conducted in a manner that adequately protects employees' safety and health. If necessary, safety delegates propose new safety measures.
I have to check that the crew are wearing the correct protected gadgets for the daily work, daily routines on deck, like the goggles, safety helmets, the gloves. I am responsible to supply them.
The safety representative should be included in planning and carrying out any measures that affect safety in the working environment on board. He or she should take part in all the meetings of the onboard safety committee. The ship's safety committee should deal with all aspects of safety protection and accident prevention on board. It should look at conditions in rest and recreation areas, as well as the working environment. The safety committee should deal with precautions to prevent occupational accidents, injuries, and sickness, and procedures for investigating and reporting accidents and near misses. The committee should meet regularly to discuss problems or ideas for improving safety on board, and should make sure that reports are sent to the designated person ashore. It is important for all the members of the committee to feel able to present their ideas. The safety representative is the go-between on all issues of safety and health that matter to the crew and need to be raised in the committee or with the safety officer. It's a two-way process. On the one hand, finding out what the crew members think, and on the other, informing them of anything they might need to know. There should be meetings where the representatives can report back to the crew and listen to their comments.
So if you have any questions, if you have any comments about...
And we talk, we carry out, we make some changes, we request some things if we need to upgrade what we have on board regarding safety. And the captain is always open-handed. You can always talk to him about these matters.
Our office in Norway working, I think, in the right way, because all time they asking about feedback from the vessels.
When we receive the monthly safety reports from the ship, and when we have read through this report, we reply to the vessel that they are well received, and also if we have any comments to the reports. And we are also discussing this with the fleet manager and their superintendent.
To have effective health and safety at work, there needs to be a constant assessment of the possible risks. The aim is to identify potential dangers and work out how to reduce the risk of injuries and accidents in advance. If an accident does happen, try to learn from it and make any changes needed to avoid it happening again. The safety representative is not primarily responsible for the safety and security of the vessel. This is a matter for the shipping company and the captain. The safety representative's main concern is with the safety and health of the people working on board. This means ensuring a safe environment to work, live and relax in. In the galley, this could mean making sure that the cook's complaints about food storage facilities are heard. On deck, it could mean noticing that untidy ropes could cause someone to trip and fall over. The safety representative should make sure that the right safety equipment is supplied on board and should check that there is enough to go round. Protective clothing should be the right size and fit for the job.
Every day I ensure that the deck crew are being briefed about what is the job for today, what is the job to be carried out, and at the same time seeing to it that they were wearing the correct protective gadgets.
Sometimes the work schedule is very tight. There can be a lot of pressure to meet deadlines. It can be very tiring. People don't always know when they are suffering from fatigue. They want to get the job done. This can become a problem for the safety of everyone on board. It is important to draw attention to these kinds of dangers as well as to the more visible problems. Don't forget that accidents are just as likely to happen in the living and recreational areas as on deck or in the engine room. The maritime environment makes it difficult to avoid accidents altogether, so it is important to be alert and to take whatever steps are possible to minimize the risk. There are training programs that can help you with what to look out for and how to carry out the duties of a safety representative in a good way. Everyone on board has to follow the safety regulations that apply to the shipping company and on board each individual vessel. This includes working regulations. If a safety representative thinks that an operation may endanger the life or health of an employee, and danger cannot be averted in any other way, the safety representative may temporarily shut down the operation.
If I see that the work is not carried out according to the plan and the safety procedures on board, then I can stop this work immediately and advise the shipmate.
Seek advice as soon as possible from the safety officer or the captain, who has overall responsibility for safety on board.
This is a ship and it is at sea, and sometimes the situations which could arise are not always safe. And then we have a time factor. And of course the leaders of the vessel, they want to shorten the period, and sometimes maybe somebody can provoke people to do something out of rules.
Busy people are not always easy to talk to. If it is not an emergency, you may have to wait for a better time. Make sure you are assertive, but not aggressive. Try to be firm about the point you want to make without getting angry. All ships need a positive approach towards a safety culture, so that thinking about safety is just part of daily work. It's a lot easier when there is good teamwork on board and good relationships between the officers and crew. Unfortunately, not all safety officers or team leaders are open and friendly to work with. Sometimes it can be difficult to raise issues, even though they affect safety on board. You may need to be patient or choose a better time to speak to the person concerned. In these circumstances, it is important to have the support of other crew members. You should be able to go to the ship's safety officer or the master. If the problem cannot be solved on board, there are other people who have an interest in the ship's safety who could provide support. Make sure you are well equipped to take on the role of safety representative. It is a good idea to work through any company training materials on the subject. Being a safety representative is all about good communication. You have to be able to listen to people and to understand their concerns. You have to be approachable and open so that they will come and talk to you if they have a safety and health problem. Also, you need to be confident enough to explain the crew's issues to the master and senior officers in the committee. On most ships, the crew comes from more than one country, so you have to make sure you understand each other. You may have to listen carefully and ask your crewmate to repeat him or herself until you understand the point being made. If you are speaking to someone whose first language is not the same as yours, make sure you don't speak too fast or use words they don't understand. The shipping industry today benefits from the skills and commitment of people from many different countries and cultures. For commercial reasons, it has long been an industry with an international perspective, but now changes in crewing patterns make it even more likely that you will be working together with people from a wide range of cultural backgrounds. You may need to get used to some very different styles of communication. Some people wave their arms and make a lot of noise when they are simply pleased to see you. Others may be very quiet when they are telling you that a terrible accident is about to happen. If you have good communication on board, you will get to know the characters of the people on board and how best to approach them. The safest ships are the ones where everyone joins in to make the safety systems work. Safety representatives carry out a very important role, and sometimes it's a difficult job. That's why it's essential to have all the support you need. There is a range of people with different responsibilities for safety at sea. The captain is ultimately responsible for everything that happens on board. Usually, he or she delegates the specific responsibility for safety and health to the safety officer. This person should be in frequent communication with the safety representatives and the safety committee. The International Safety Management Code requires that the company responsible for the operation of the ship has a designated person to act as a point of contact with the vessel. This person must be able to make decisions quickly, and they must be able to contact people at the highest levels of the company.
The onboard personnel shall at all time have the possibility to get in touch with the highest level of the management ashore.
Though they may be far away, the ship's owner also has responsibilities for what happens on board his or her vessels, and it is in his or her best interests to support safety on board. Ships have to abide by the laws of the country of the flag they fly, so flag state inspectors have a responsibility to ensure the safety and health of crew on board vessels flying their flag. The Port State Control Officer must check that ships visiting their ports are in compliance with their safety conventions. They will check that the vessels itself are safe to operate, but they are also interested in issues like fatigue and hygiene. The ship management company also plays a vital role, being responsible for training and for the standards of crew competency. You might ask them for training on how to be an effective safety representative. Your union is another organization with a concern for your safety and health. If you have a collective bargaining agreement on board, amongst other things, it will include a requirement that provisions are made for welfare and safety and health on board. Your union official should make sure that any such provisions are complied with. ITF inspectors are also there to make sure that you have decent working conditions on board. Safety at sea is a concept that covers more than injuries and accidents that happen as a result of ship operations or working situations on board. A ship is a community where work and leisure overlap and where good cooperation between the crew and the ship's officers is a must in order to maintain a safe environment. Given the multinational nature of the crews on most ships, it is important to promote a good social climate where all cultures and nationalities feel at home.
Try at the beginning, if you have some multinations, just to have gentle relationship to themselves, including good relationship to their religion, to their mentality, and to their specific abilities.
We have a good relation. We can understand each other during job and also during rest.
Consideration of safety and health in the working environment is an essential part of any operation. A good safety practice on board benefits all those involved in the running of the ship. Everyone has a responsibility to participate in the safety on board, and everyone has a right to a working and living environment that is as safe as it can be.
I always say to them, this safety is not for someone else. This is for themselves and for their family.